A new generation of young black farmers are reclaiming their agricultural legacy, and hip-hop is helping to set the stage. I'm Dometi Pongo, and this is MTV News Need to Know. Just a century ago, black people made up 14% of American farmers. Today, because of systemic racism, they make up just 1.4% of what is now a trillion-dollar industry. Young people of color talk a lot about how to create generational wealth. But if we're gonna make that a reality, we have to evaluate how we got edged out of the industry in the first place. At the end of the Civil War, formerly enslaved people were promised 40 acres and a mule to create a way to use their skills to make a living. Few ever got them. Instead, a form of reparations went to white Southerners after emancipation, where the government even paid slave owners for their so-called lost property. This egregious favoring of white landowners continued from there. In 1984, at the height of the farm crisis, the USDA lent a total of $1.3 billion to nearly 16,000 farmers to help them maintain their land. Only 209 of those farmers were black. The brutal reality is that enslaved Africans were forced to till the land that their descendants were unable to profit from once freed. And these are just a few examples. There's a laundry list of discriminatory legislation and white mobs pushing black farmers off the land. Think about this. George Floyd's great-great-grandfather was given 500 acres after the Civil War that was later stolen by white farmers. What if he'd been able to pass that down? Where would the Floyds be right now? Young farmers today see the growing weed and hemp industries as ways to reclaim space and profit. Since 2016, the historically black North Carolina A&T College of Agriculture and Environmental Sciences has been expanding research and education around hemp. The market is projected to top $26 billion by 2025. But getting started can pose a challenge for black farmers. They lack access to loans and technical education. And to make matters worse, the hemp industry has high labor costs and regulatory hurdles. A&T is working to help fund and educate young people interested in the future of agriculture. And there's still the stigma of marijuana use. Black people are disproportionately incarcerated despite federal data showing that white and black folks use drugs at the same rate. This is directly related to the legacy of the war on drugs in the US, which started with President Nixon. While marijuana is now legal in many states, there are a lot of people who are still imprisoned or have felonies because of it, or are shut off from making money from it. Take the case of Michael Thompson, who was arrested in 1994 for selling weed and is now the longest-serving nonviolent offender in Michigan history. His story and the effects of the war on drugs on the black community will be told in the documentary The Sentence of Michael Thompson. The film is premiering at South by Southwest and is funded by cannabis wholesaler Cresco Labs. The company's EVP of Social Equity, Chima Enya, said in a press release, "Unfortunately, one of the themes central to Michael's story is not unique. Several 100,000 Americans, predominantly black and Latinx, continue to be arrested on marijuana-related charges every year. Over 40,000 people suffer in prison because of cannabis-related convictions at this very moment." It's a cause taken up by artists like Jay-Z. He created a luxury cannabis company called Monogram with investors Rihanna, Meek Mill, Yo Gotti, and DJ Khaled. The parent company is investing millions into black weed farmers. And Monogram's marketing subverts negative stereotypes surrounding black people and weed, depicting successful black people partaking. As he said, black people deserve space. We were the ones most negatively affected by the war on drugs, and America has turned around and created a business from it that's worth billions. Beyonce has also ventured into the hemp world with her hemp and honey farm, encouraging the plant's wellness benefits. But it's gonna take more than media moguls reversing the stigma to actually heal generations of damage. Advocacy groups have been pushing lawmakers to make the industry more equitable and to make weed legal federally. And there has been some progress. In Massachusetts, where marijuana is legal, black farmers are given expedited application reviews and their fees are waived. A new program in Evanston, Illinois uses marijuana tax revenue toward reparations for black residents. Listen, it's important that black people have their rightful place in agriculture after centuries of being maligned in an industry they helped build. Because after all, the idea of pulling oneself up by the bootstraps ignores the fact that America's historically oppressed communities were cut off at the knees at various turns. But the more we educate ourselves on these systemic realities, the more intentional we can be about the ways to reverse the damage and repair our communities. I'm Dometi Pongo, and that's what you need to know.